Somebody gon' get to tell him that I'm.
What is good with it, bully world? Gorilla Tone Bullies back at you again. I just wanted to give some more insight and a couple of things that I noticed and that I experienced at the Shreveport, Louisiana expo this past Saturday. First of all, before I say that, man, I get on this morning, y'all. I appreciate y'all subscribing, man. I don't know what it is that y'all find interesting, but I done went from, like I said before, I had 4 or 5 subscribers starting out when I first got Jago. He looked like a little French bulldog when I first got him, and that was guys that I personally know who support me, truly support me, and it went from that to like 23 to 50 to 80. And then when I got Nezuko from 80 to 100, and then I looked this morning, I got over 200 subscribers now. That's small and minute and ain't worth a dime compared to a lot of these YouTubers out there. But to me, it's an accomplishment and it's a blessing. So, all praise and glory be to God. I appreciate y'all. The channel's growing. It's all good. One thing that I noticed, majorly noticed at the Bully Expo is what was turning heads. I had a thought process before getting there. I want to see what type of dog turns people's heads. I wanted some insight on that. So I paid attention. Like when I go to a new surrounding, if I meet a new person, I'm very, very quiet. I'm genuinely a quiet person to begin with. If I really know you, like know you, I don't shut up. But when I first meet someone and they talk a lot, I don't say nothing. I just let them talk. Because all they do is feed me all the information I need to get a better outlook on the type of person that they are. My mama told me a long time ago, you can't learn nothing when you're talking all the time. So when I get around people who talk a lot, I just let them talk. Because all you do is feed them. All you doing is feed me information. That's all you're doing. So I sat back and I observed. I nodded my head and spoke to people walking in. Some people came over and spoke to me, introduced themselves. I was really surprised on how humble a lot of these people were. Really surprised, and I'll get to that. But what was turning heads at the expo, the type of dogs that were turning heads at the expo was big dogs, size, and I don't necessarily mean this. I mean this. These people were so thrown back and amazed by girth and bone and head and neck and just how big everything was. Now, don't get me wrong, I love big. I want Jay on a bigger frame. We ain't got to worry about getting him shorter now. He's 114 inches. We ain't got to worry about that. And plus, his development now here lately has deterred me from wanting to make him either, smaller and more compact. Now I want to get just a little bit more girth on Jay. The reason why I got Nezuko. That's for another video. But everybody, every big dog that walked by, it didn't matter how tall they were, how short they were. Oh man, yo, look at! They were tripping. So much so that they were looking past a lot of things that were very important, especially when you talking about the show ring. Now there was one dog that just threw me for a loop there. I forget the dog's name. It was a reverse tri, a male. And this dog was about 15 inches tall. As wide can be. But he didn't have so much weight on him. You couldn't see, you could see every striation, every detail of the muscle in that dog. His head was just stupid. Eye separation was great. And I was thrown back by that. And I'm looking at him, and when I see him walk, his rear legs, man, his hocks were stiff. Everything else was moving good, but that rear was just moving really, really stiff. Didn't have good movement in the back. And that's what I pay attention to. See, there's other people there, and these were basically spectators. People who were there who didn't even have dogs, just watching the show. Probably left their dog at home. But they were just floored by the size, and they were looking past the fact that some of these dogs had a little bit of Easty-Westy. Some of them had a little bit of a bad bite. Some of them rear was a little high. They were looking past all that because of how big these dogs were. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not up here downing anybody's dogs. These dogs were amazing there. They were amazing. And there's no such thing as a perfect bully. We should be breeding to get as close to perfect as possible. And when I say perfect, health wise, movement, good joints, good bite, you know, developing and producing bulls that are going to have a comfortable life because they're not deformed. There's not a lot of deformities. You know what I'm saying? Um, but they were so into the size of the dog, girth wise, they were looking past all that. And that kind of really surprised me. It really surprised me. Even some people there who were showing dogs, they were looking at these dogs and they were like, oh, look how big his head, look up, and they wasn't seeing nothing else. But I was paying attention to detail. You know what I'm saying? And getting back to the point that I made about I was surprised on how humble some of these people were. You had guys there who were very seasoned, who's been breeding and showing for years. I was sitting next to this young man. His name was Merle. He was young. He was younger than me. I mean, I'm 43, so this dude looked to be maybe 30. He had a beautiful female. I think she was 6 months old that he was going to show. And I could tell he had a lot of knowledge, just by the conversation me and him was having. And he would suggest certain things in a manner to where he wasn't exuding arrogance to me. He would ask me questions about certain things in my program. And I would tell him, he's like, oh, that's good, man, that's good. Have you ever thought about trying to do this? Or have you ever thought about trying to do that? He was so humble and so careful about his words. Because you get some guys out there that drop 2 letters and they know everything. They know everything. Then you can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. You have people who have been doing it for years and you can see the arrogance just coming out their pores. Like you talk to them and they act like they ain't got no time of day for you. Like they ain't never had a starting point. Like they started the game knowing everything. Never understood that. Never understood that. And I didn't run across not one person there who was like that. Not one. Not one. They were so willing to push off information. They were so willing to answer a question. They would sit back and even just wait. And when you would ask them something, they were like, you know what? I'm glad you asked me that. Here's what I think about it. Here's my experience. It wasn't their opinion. A lot of them there wouldn't, if they didn't know or didn't have any experience on the question I was asking, they would be like, I ain't never, ran across that. In all my years of doing this, I've never really ran across that, so I can't answer that. And you got some people out there who won't know nothing about what you're talking about, but they'll act like it. They will flat out act like it. And I didn't see none of that there. And I was really happy about that. But I didn't see many micros there. I seen one little micro, a little black female. She was really nice. She was really pretty. But I'm talking small. She looked like a puppy. I'm talking about like a 4-month-old puppy, and the girl was like a year. It was crazy. ABKC was a good experience. The show was well put together. It started a little late because people were coming in late. The address that they gave us didn't take you directly to the building. It was some agriculture building, ag building. That's what we call it here. And it didn't take you all the way there. So they had complications with people coming in. But that's just some of the things I wanted to share about the Bully Expo that I witnessed. But it's not all about size. It's not all about size. When we're talking about showing dogs, when we're talking about wanting to see if your dog meets the standard. Now, a lot of people just brought their dogs in, didn't show them just to size their dogs up with other people's best of the best. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I can tell you this. Bringing Jay to that expo and seeing these amazing dogs, stacking Jay up, beside one of these dogs, even that reverse try that I loved. Jay was right there with him. Especially conformation-wise, movement-wise, structure. Jay was right there with him. Now, Jay was one of the smallest pocket bulls there. And when I say small, I mean shortest. But the dude, and in size too. He was smaller. There was plenty of dogs there girthier than Jay. I mean, you can see in the video when I was stacking him up, the guy behind me was 2 times Jay's size. But he didn't move like Jay. He didn't have the conformation like Jay. He didn't have the structure like Jay. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what I'm looking for. But I want to add a little bit more girth to my boy Jay, because I ain't worried about getting him shorter no more or more compact. Jay is, to me, the perfect size bully that I want. I didn't used to think that, but now that he's developing more, his frame is filling out, he looks shorter. He looks more compact to me. Once those dogs start filling out, it's a totally different story. But I want a little bit more girth. And who knows, in another 6 months, he might fill out to the point to where I ain't even talking about adding no more girth. You just never know, because these dogs develop so often and so many times. You look at your American Bully one day, and then you turn around next month, you're looking at a totally different dog. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my 2 cents on that, man. It was an amazing experience again. I'm going to try to do some stacking videos of Jay pretty soon. I'm probably not going to be showing Nezuko for another month or 2. I want to let her develop more. She's still looking good. She's still looking chunky. There are things that I'm noticing about her that I think that's going to occur. I still believe she's going to be a big, girthy dog. But what she lacks, Jay will add. What she lacks, Jay will add. And she's definitely going to add bone to Jay. So that's the main ingredients I'm looking for. I'll say 2 more pieces to the puzzle, 2 more dogs. And I think we're going to be right there where we need to be. You dig what I'm saying? But respect to y'all, man. God bless y'all. Stay up. Appreciate your support.